Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business podcast. This is Roy, your host. Of course, we're the podcast that brings you a wide variety of guests that talk about a bunch of diverse subjects that have to do with business. This is going to be our third installment of Google Ads, and we're lucky Bobby with Signa Marketing is back with us. Bobby, welcome back.
Thank you, Roy. I really appreciate it. Happy to be back.
Yeah. This is awesome. What we've decided is to take a little different approach in addition to the normal full-length episodes that we release on Tuesday. Is we're having this segment that we're going to release, probably on a Thursday that will kind of get into subjects a little bit deeper. They're going to be shorter, but give you some actionable item. And so this is going to be over. We're still talking about Google Ads, and we've talked in the beginning about targeting and how to build or how to get started. And then we talked about the different campaign types. And so today we're going to talk about how to build the campaign. So Bobby, I'll let you take it from there.
Awesome. Sounds great. Yeah. And I know even on the last segment of this, we touched a little bit on kind of just building out a search campaign, super high level, but here we'll dive much deeper. So,
okay, awesome.
So yeah, just to recap, some of the three main types of campaigns will be a search campaign, a display campaign, or a video campaign. And so we'll start with the search campaign first. So this is with the understanding that this person has already done their keyword research. They already kind of know exactly, who they want to target and all that good stuff. And so what I really like to do as a process is actually before you even open up the interface, you can use a Google Doc, you can use a piece of paper, it doesn't matter, but you want to outline and structure your campaign, kind of just put it on paper first. So it's just an outline. You would say,
okay.
Hey, campaign number one, it's going to contain these types of keywords. And then with those keywords, you'll want to add them kind of like in buckets or almost like folders where they're nicely themed. And so as an example,
okay.
say I'm a garage door repair company and I want to target two different cities out here. Say I want to target Phoenix and Chandler. People, instead of just buying garage door repair as a keyword, I want to even get a little bit more themed out and say garage door repair Phoenix, and then garage door repair Chandler. Now, those two keywords, I don't want to add them in the same folder. I actually want to keep them in separate ad groups. And the reason why is because then the ads that I create in those ad groups, I can say directly in the ad, garage door repair Chandler or garage door repair Phoenix, or I could say top garage door repair company in Chandler. It could be very themed out in that sense. So that's that type of process.
Yeah, and I think I was just going to say that if you go back and listen to one of the previous episodes, that's something you talk about that, I've never thought about. That is excellent advice is, and because I have to admit I'm guilty of this, is just like dumping all the keywords into one campaign. And mine are pretty general anyway, but, if you do have specifics like that, it's great to set up different campaigns so you can write copy or develop YouTube content or whatever you're doing that specifically targets that group. So anyway, didn't mean to interrupt you. Just wanted to say that, that's why it's so awesome for me to do this show, because like I say, I learn something every time we get on here. I learn something. But anyway, go ahead, Bobby, take it.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's incredibly important because what you're looking to do, so by doing that, you're basically delivering an ad result to exactly what the person was searching for. So you're answering their question directly. How that translates into better results is that you'll actually have a higher click-through rate, meaning your ad will definitely stand out from the competition in that sense. And that in turn will give you a better quality score. And so each keyword has a quality score measured from 1 to 10. And essentially this is Google's relevance metric to let us know how relevant is our keyword compared to our ad copy and then compared to our landing page. If we have those three assets highly relevant, then we get rewarded with a really great quality score, which in turn actually drives down our cost per click. So they basically reward us by not having to, if we're bidding $6 a click, we may actually pay only $3 for it, typically about half.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. If we have a keyword that has a bad quality score, they're going to charge you $6 a click. They're going to back you out. So that's that part of the process as far as defining your account structure. And this is why we get into account structure, because it absolutely matters. And to what you mentioned, Roy, earlier, you definitely want to stay away from just adding just keywords all into one folder, because then we talked about relevancy, it affects that, but then it's also kind of hard to manage bids when you're running the campaign and you're running them over time. You want to have control over bids and in a way that's efficient. So it's much easier to control your bids at the ad group level compared to having to add a bid on every single keyword, because that can get pretty crazy, especially if you're buying 200, 300, 400 keywords. Managing an account like that is that's not possible at that point. So by segmenting all these keywords into really nicely themed ad groups, you can control the bids at the ad group level.
Okay.
So once you have that on paper and you're happy with it, then go into the interface and start building that campaign out. In terms of campaign settings, I mean, there's a lot there, but some of the major ones are definitely going to be your location settings. You can get pretty granular down to the zip code level. Now, just as a FYI, if you're in an industry like real estate, Google will notice that, and they'll have you opt into a housing agreement just to make sure you're compliant and stuff like that. And Facebook's been doing that for a while, but Google's rolled that out too. But yeah, and then you'll also have an option to advertise on other search networks like Ask, I believe, like Ask.com and stuff like that. So Google does have other search partners that they monetize their platforms too. So you can opt in or opt out of that. Typically we'll opt in because the more coverage, the better in that sense.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, so from there, you're going to go through the process of building that campaign, building those ad groups, building your ads. We always recommend in each ad group, you want at least 3 ads. You want at least 2 extended ads, text ads, and at least 1 responsive ad. And the reason why with the responsive ads is Google is going to recommend it to you anyways. They're going to be like, they're going to give you these notifications of, hey, you're missing an opportunity, create your responsive ad. But the reason why it's so important is because actually from a testing perspective, it's great. A responsive ad allows you to put, I think it's up to 10 different headlines, up to 6, I believe, descriptions. And the system itself will rotate these variations and trigger them. So over time, you can actually see which headlines have the highest click-through rate, which descriptions have the highest click-through rate, and then create new ads based off that data right there. So that's at a high level, a search campaign, building that out. When it comes to display and video, you actually do want to take the same approach in terms of mapping out your campaign structure on paper. And in this case, you can target by keywords, or you can target also by custom audiences. And so audiences is definitely very common. Like you can create a custom audience by targeting people that have shown interest in specific subjects or topics, or even that have shown interest in certain brands. You can target even people by that type of behavior. So one strategy is, say, for example, I have an all-purpose cleaning product and I want to, target people that have had an interest in Simple Green. I can do that through display advertising or video. So I would say definitely take that same approach of mapping it out on paper and then go into the interface and build it out.
Okay. All right, great. Anything else we want to add before we close?
Before we close, I would say I just want to touch on ad extensions for search campaigns, because ad extensions is a huge opportunity that a lot of people leave on the table. So when you're building, when you have your campaign basically built out for search, make sure you build out ad extensions. So where you'll find this at is underneath the ads tab, and then there will be a button that says extensions. So there's a ton of different ones in there, but some of the common ones are going to be site links, call outs, a call extension, and structured snippets. Those are kind of like, I mean, there's about 8 or 9 or maybe even 10, but those are 4 of the main ones that almost every business should have, because basically what happens is that when these call extensions or when these ad extensions do appear on the search network, your ad actually looks much bigger and takes up more real estate. And so by taking up more real estate, you can actually drive up your click-through rate as well. So yeah, and it doesn't cost, I mean, it'll maybe cost a little bit more per click, but you are definitely having more of a prominent appearance on the search network, and that's why you get a higher click-through rate.
Yeah, and that kind of translates over. I don't want to get off into that, but like why we suggest using pictures and videos when we post on LinkedIn and Facebook and other networks is it's not only that people are more interested in pictures and videos, but also if you think about it, if you have just write a few lines of text, you take up about this much space. It's easy to get lost in the scroll. Where if you have a picture and video, now all of a sudden you've just expanded your real estate. So that's good. All right, Bobby. Well, thanks again. Next week, we're going to be back with how to enable the campaign and then also the maintenance part of that too. So thanks again. Y'all reach out if you need some help. Let Bobby and his team help you. And how could they get a hold of y'all, Bobby?
Wonderful. No, thank you, Roy. I really appreciate it again. Everyone can reach us at signamarketing.com or at Signa is our social media handle everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, we're very active on those channels. So if you have a question, definitely don't be shy to send us a comment on there.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Again, you can find us at www.thebusinessofbusinesspodcast.com. We're on all the major social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These videos will go up on YouTube as well. We are on all the major podcast platforms, iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Spotify. If we're not on one that you listen to, give me a shout. I'll be glad to get us added to there. So till next week, thanks a lot.